Are you ready to go back in time? These six historical fiction books coming out in 2025 will carry you to some unforgettable times and places. Let's explore these spectacular stories that bring history to life. My name is Raquel. Welcome and welcome back. We're going to go ahead and get started. This is part two of my series on books that come out in 2025. I'm going to go ahead and read the synopsis. Let's get started. The first book is going to be Life of Herod the Great. It is by Zora Neale Hurston, whom we know have passed away. She did not complete her work, and so Miss Deborah G. Plant has picked up and completed it. It says, in the 1850s, as a continuum of Moses, Man on the Mountain, Zora Neale Hurston penned a historical novel about the most infamous figure in the Bible, Herod the Great. In Hurston's retelling, Herod is not the wicked ruler of the New Testament who is charged with the slaughter of the innocents, but the forerunner of Christ and beloved king who enriched Jewish culture and brought prosperity and peace to Judea. From the peaks of triumph to the depths of human misery, the historical Herod, Herod appears to have been singled out and especially endowed to attract the lightning of faith. Hurston writes, an intimate of both Mark Antony and Julius Caesar, the Judean king lived during the first century BC, in a time of war and imperial expansion that was rife with political assassination and bribery as the old world gave way to the new. Portraying Herod within this vivid and dynamic world of antiquity, little known to modern readers, Hurston's unfinished manuscript brings this complex, compelling, and misunderstood leader fully into focus. Hurston shares her feelings about Herod's rise, his reign, and his warning days in letters to friends and associates. Texts from three of these letters conclude the manuscript in an intimate way. Scholar editor Deborah Plant's commentary, A Story Finally Told, assesses Hurston's pioneer work and underscores Hurston's perspective that the first century BC was much to teach us, and that the lens through which to view this dramatic and stirring era is the life and times of the great Herod. So this comes out on January 7th, 2025. I love Zora Neale Hurston's books. Um, this kind of almost sounds like a documentary to me. I'm not quite sure what to expect from this, but I can tell you that I'm definitely looking forward to it. And the next one is called The Filling Station by Vanessa Miller. It also is historical fiction, and it says two sisters, one unassuming haven, endless opportunities for grace. Sister Margaret and Evelyn Justice have grown up in the prosperous Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma, also known as Black Wall Street. In Greenwood, the Justice sisters had it all: movie theaters and entertainment venues, beauty shop and clothing stores, high profile business like law offices, medical clinics, and banks. While Evelyn aspired to head off to the East Coast to study fashion design, recent college grad Margaret plans to settle in Greenwood, teaching at a local high school and eventually raising a family. Then in 1921, Tulsa Race Massacre upends everything they know and brings them unspeakable loss. Left with nothing but each other, the sisters flee along with what would eventually become ironic Route 66 and stumble upon the threat filling station, a safe haven, and the only place where they can find a shared hope in oppressive Jim Crow America. At the filling station, they are able to process their pain, fill up their souls, and find strength as they wrestle with a faith in God that has left them feeling abandoned. But they eventually realize that they can't hide out in the filling station when Greenwood needs to be rebuilt. The search for their father and their former life may not give them easy answers, but it can propel them and their community to a place where their voices are stronger, strong enough to build a future that honors the legacy of those who were lost. Um, this actually sounds really, really good to me. So I am definitely looking forward to the filling station. And this comes out March 11th, 2025. Again, it's by Vanessa Miller, and she writes some really good books. I do love her books. I think that this is Christian fiction as well as historical fiction. The next book is called Manual for the Wives. It is by Lola J. And this is British historical fiction, Black British historical fiction. Everything about Adeline Copperfield is a lie. To the world's Miss Copperfield is the epitome of Victorian propriety, an exemplary society lady who writes a weekly column advertising young ladies on how to be better wives. Only Adeline has never been a good wife or mother. She has no claim to the Copperfield name, nor is she an English lady. Now, a black woman born in Africa who dared to pretend to be something she is not is on trial in the English courts with all of London society baying for her blood, and she is ready to tell her story. From the author of The Attic Child, Lola J. comes The Manual for the Good Wives, a dual narrative historical novel for love, generational trauma, second chances, and hope. That sounds good as well. Oh my God, I am so looking forward to that. Um, I wasn't really excited initially because it said it was British, and I don't have anything about against British or whatever, but I don't know. It just didn't really excite me until I read the synopsis. So yes, I am going to be into British Black historical fiction. And the next book is called The Blackbird of St. Giles. It is by Lila Kane. So it says, some things are earned, some things are worth fighting for. It's 1782. Daniel and her sister Pearl, alive in London with the world at their feet and their futures assured, having escaped a Jamaican sugar plantation. Danielle Daniel fought for the British in the American War of Independence and was rewarded with freedom and an inheritance. But the city is not a place for men like Daniel, and he is callously tricked and finds himself, along with his sister Pearl, in the rookeries of St. Giles, a warren of dark and menacing alleyways filled with violence and poverty. The underworld labyrinth is run by Elias, a man whose cruelty knows no bounds. But under his dangerous rule is a brotherhood of black men, the Blackbirds of St. Giles, whose intention is to set their people free. Can Daniel use his strength, wit, and the fellowship of the other blackbirds to overthrow Elias and truly find the freedom he sought for? That sounds pretty good as well. But I am one who truly enjoys historical fiction, so I'm not surprised that that one sounds really good as well. And then we have Let Us March, which is by Shara Moon. It says, I'm going to a, I'm I'm just a college educated Southerner with a passion for books. My husband says I'm too bold, too sharp, too unrelenting. Others say I helped spearhead the civil rights movement of our time. President Roosevelt says I'm too spunky and too spirited for my own good. Who am I? I am Elizabeth Lizzie McDuffie, and this is my story. When Lizzie McDuffie, maid to Eleanor and Franklin D. Roosevelt, boldly proclaimed herself FDR's secretary on colored people's affairs, she became more than just a maid. She became the president's eyes and ears into the black community. After joining the White House to work alongside her husband, FDR's personal valet, Lizzie managed to become completely indispensable to the Roosevelt family, never shying about pointing out injustices. She advocated for the needs and rights of her fellow African American when those in the White House blocked access to the president. Following the life of Lizzie McDuffie throughout her time in the White House, as she companioned as she championed the rights of everyone, as she championed the rights of everyday Americans and provided access to the most powerful man in the country. Let Us March On looks at the unsung, courageous crusader who is finally getting the recognition she so rightly deserved. And this sounds like kind of sounds like the librarian that I think it is. It's this book who is, I believe she's the librarian to the president. So it kind of gives me that frame of mind. And then it also gives me the frame of mind of that movie, The Butler, from with Oprah Winfrey and Forrest Whitaker. And so that is what puts on my mind for this. I don't know if it's like that, but that's just what I'm thinking from reading the synopsis. But I'm, yeah, definitely going to be checking this out. It comes out on February 4th of 2025. And then we have Red Clay by Charles B. Francher. And it says in 1943, when a frail old white man shows up in Red Clay, Alabama, at the home of a black former slave on the morning following his funeral, his family hardly knows what to expect after she utters the words, "A lifetime ago, my family owned yours." Adelaide, Par- Adelaide Parker has a story to tell, one of ambition, betrayal, violence, and redemption that shaped both the fates of her family and that of the fate of Alex H. Parker. But there are gaps in her knowledge, and she came to Red Clay seeking answers from a family of whom she shares a name and a history that neither knows in full. In an epic saga that takes us from Red Clay to Paris to the, uh, I don't know, uh, it's French Côte d'Azur and New Orleans, human frailties are pushed to their limits as secrets are exposed and the line between good and evil becomes more and more difficult to discern. Red Clay is a tale that deftly lays bare the ugliness of slavery and uncertainty of the final months of the Civil War, the optimism of Reconstruction, and the pain and frustration of Jim Crow. With a vivid sense of a place in a cast of memorable characters, Charles B. Francher draws upon his own family history to weave a riveting tale of triumph over adversity, set against the backdrop of social change and racial animus that reverberates in contemporary America. Though seasons of joy and unspeakable pain, Francher delivers rich moments as allies become enemies and enemies, to their great surprise, find new respect for each other. Hmm, that's interesting. Um, some parts of it sound interesting. I'm definitely going to be looking out for it. And I find that the ones that I don't think I want to read wind up being the best ones. So we will see. And then the last one is called The Devil Three Times. It is by Ricky Faney, Fayne. It says Yutande awakens aboard a slave ship en route to the United States with the spirit of her dead sister as her only companion. Desperate to survive the hell that awaits her at their destination, Yutande finds help in an unexpected form of the devil himself. The devil, seeking a way to re enter the pearly gates of heaven, decides to provide himself to an indifferent body by protecting Yutande and granting her a piece of his supernatural power. In return, Yutande makes an incredible sacrifice. Their bargain extends far beyond Yutande's mortal lifespan. Over the next 175 years, the devil visits Yutande's descendants in their dark hour of need. Lucille, a conjure woman, Asa, who passes for white, Lewis and Virgil, who risks becoming a 20th century Cain and Abel, Cassandra, who speaks to the dead, James, who struggles to make sense of the past while fighting to keep his family together, and many others. The devil offers each of them his own version of salvation, all the while wondering, can he save himself too? Steeped in the spiritual traditions of oral history of the black diaspora, The Devil Three Times is a baptism of fire and water, heralding a new voice in American fiction. Hmm. Now, doesn't that sound interesting? Uh, this is coming out on May 13 of 2025, and I don't know about this one because, like, I don't play with the devil. I don't mess with him. You know what I'm saying? I'm Christian, and um, it just sounds weird that somebody would make a pact with the devil, like you know who he is, and you make a pact with him, and now. Not only do you make a pact with him, but 175 years into your family's generations are now adhered to that pact. It sounds interesting, but like I said, I don't kind of mess around with that kind of stuff. I don't do spooky. I don't do scary. I don't do devil, blood. Not me. So I don't know about this one. I can't tell you I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if I'll pick it up, if I'll read it. I don't think so. But like I said before, they tend to be the best books, and when I do pick them up, it's usually way past the time for them to actually come out. So, yeah, I don't know. But that was the six historical fiction books. Um, yeah, just pick those up. I don't know. I guess I'm stumped now because of this one, The Devil Three Times. Um, these are six of some of the historical fiction that'll be coming out in 2025. Let me know in the comments if you'll be picking up any of these books. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, see you soon.